Today, I want to talk about an interesting observation that came out during my PhD thesis. And these are the results of that observation. The title of the talk is Non-Functionalized Gold Nanoparticles Inhibit Human Papillomavirus Infection. Okay, the goal of my PhD project was to make a biosensor to detect human papillomavirus 16 using gold nanoparticles because they have a very interesting characteristic. They aggregate when you increase the amount of salt, changing its color from red to blue, allowing to make optics biosensors. Here, I present you an aggregation assay where we rise the concentration of salt with gold nanoparticles. We have a very straight increasing in the gold nanoparticles blue color, as you can observe in this plot of increasing NaCl millimolar concentration versus 550 and 520 nanometers ratio. As the salt concentration increase, the ratio rises, revealing the red-blue color change. This color change can be observed by naked eye. By transmission electron microscopy, we determine the gold nanoparticles interact directly with the human papillomavirus virus-like particles. As you can see in the microscopy, the virus capsids appear as a deflected balloon. The characteristic shapes, gold nanoparticles are electrodense, and in this imagery, the complex seems as a Mickey Mouse. So the non-functionalized gold nanoparticles interact directly with the human papillomavirus 16 VLPs. And unexpectedly, when we add human papillomavirus 16 VLPs to gold nanoparticles, we got surprised. They inhibit its aggregation and the change color as the protein concentration increases. It is well known that gold nanoparticles may bind proteins. However, when we did this experiment using a control protein like albumin, we noticed that the interaction between the gold nanoparticles and the VLPs it's even stronger and faster as the control protein, albumin in this case. So the non-functionalized gold nanoparticles interacts with the virus better than the control protein, albumin. And also the VLPs interact with the non-functionalized gold nanoparticles, inhibiting the salt aggregation process and, of course, the change of color. Okay. The next question is why they interact. We know that the human papillomavirus capsids are essentially positive. And gold nanoparticles are negative. So we consider as a hypothesis that the gold nanoparticle can function as a bridge between two virus-like particles, increasing its size. Nevertheless, when we add the gold nanoparticles to the VLPs, the size complex was reduced to something that resembles to virus-like particles single. And we didn't expect that. As you can see in this plot of dynamic light scattering size determination versus increasing concentration of gold nanoparticles, the size of the VLP complex decreases to something that resembles a single VLP. So with this result, the hypothesis is that it's happened an electrostatic interaction. So we decided to remove the positive charge in the virus-like particle surface. So we produce mutants, changing the positive residues in the VLP surface. We perform the same aggregations assays with the mutant VLPs, increasing the concentration of the proteins, in this case, the mutants VLPs. And the three mutants inhibit better the human papillomavirus, the gold nanoparticles aggregation than the VLPs wild types. Therefore, although we cannot rule out that the participation of electrostatic charges, there are other stabilizing forces in the gold nanoparticles VLP interaction. So the interaction is not electrostatic. So we bet we bet for hydrophobic forces To show that, we include ethanol in the complex formation with the hypothesis of to increase the VLP solubility using a less polar solvent. In this plot, the aggregation assay to increasing concentration of ethanol showed a recovery of the gonanoparticle aggregation capacity, suggesting that at least in part, the interaction is hydrophobic. And now the main question is if the complex of the human papillomavirus and gonanoparticles is relevantly biologically. To address this question, we produce pseudovirus because of the lack of a reliable in vitro model for human papillomavirus infection. We produce human papillomavirus pseudovirus containing a reported plasmid as a pseudogenoc to mimic the human papillomavirus infection in cells. This system recreates the infection process of the natural virus. An effective pseudo-infection process will result in a fluorescent cells through the expression of yellow fluorescent protein reporter. When the pseudovirus are in the cell culture, they produce a human papillomavirus infection process, and the cells become fluorescent. As you can see in the fluorescent microscopy, our pseudovirus are capable to infect the cells. So we put together pseudovirus and increasing concentration of gonanoparticles by 20 minutes, and the mix was added to the cells by 20 minutes. And after that time, the mixture was removed. 72 hours post-infection. These are the results. So as you can see in every image, to increasing concentration of gonanoparticles, the number of fluorescent cells decreases in a dose-dependent manner. And for a quantitative result, we recover the cells and count them by flow cytometry. As a viability control, we use cells exposed to gonanoparticles without pseudovirus, concluding that the non-functionalized gonanoparticles are capable of inhibit the human papillomavirus infection process without affecting the viability. And of course, the next question is if other metallic nanoparticles can inhibit the human papillomavirus infection process. We did the same experiment using silver nanoparticles, and here are the results. There is not a difference between gold nanoparticles and silver nanoparticles. So we have the same results. The silver nanoparticles are capable of inhibiting the human papillomavirus infection process. So the main conclusions about the human papillomavirus and gold nanoparticles interaction characterization are that gold nanoparticles stabilize the human papillomavirus pseudovirus in solution. The gold nanoparticle VLP interaction is not electrostatic, at least partially hydrophobic, and both nanoparticles are capable of inhibit the human papillomavirus infection process without affecting the cell viability. So as a perspective, we try to go to clinical trials for this. And I just want to say thank you to the collaborators and the CONACYT for the funding, and of course to you for the attention.
Thank you for the presentation, Dr. Palomino. So let's see if we have got any questions for you in the chat box. There is one question. Can you address it in the chat box?
Okay.
It says, what the meaning is non-functionalized in your presentation?
Oh, that means that the nanoparticles are synthesized by the Dr.GIOVANNI method, where they are stable in the solution because they are recovered of citrate ions. So okay, the surface is available.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again for the presentation, and with this, we have reached the end of Nano Rome 2023. I hope that you all enjoyed the conference, and it was a great experience for me. And please do write me how you like it and what are the things that we can improve in the coming editions. And most probably, it would be great to meet you all again in person at Nano Room Nanotechnology Conference 2024. We are still not sure where we are going to host it, but definitely it will be in Europe, and it would be great if you all can join the next edition in person. And with this, I would like to thank all the committee members, all the speakers, presenter, attendees, and exhibitor, and our supporting Nano Journal, Nanoword Journal, and their editorial board members. Thank you, everyone, for being there with us, for supporting us, and it was great to have your collaboration for this event. Thank you once again, and take care, and hopefully see you again next year. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.